Hey, you're listening to Smoke Meat. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Just Smoke Meat's brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar building. Such a great place. I love going to Joe's every time I go home. Make you feel like family every time you walk in the joint. You know, you need to go in there, sit down, have a drink, have you a snack, meet a new friend, sit and talk to some old ones. Guarantee you're going to find friends in Joe's. Jeremy's going to make sure you feel welcome every time you come in. Just remember, I go to Joe's and so should you. Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar building. Today, my guest is Kim Aston. Kim is also with the band Revolushn. She's a vocalist, does such a great job. She's so interesting. I had a ball talking to Kim. Not a lot I can say, but just, man, we're going to find out here shortly. You're going to love it. So, here we go, here on Smoke Meat. How are you today, Kim?
Hey, I couldn't be better.
Oh, outstanding, outstanding. Yeah, it's out there in beautiful
And
sunny California.
yeah, and you're near Atlanta, Georgia, right?
I am, and it's beautiful out here today. It's not hot yet, and it's just sunny. I mean, it's the squirrels are eating the corn on the back porch, and they're getting into our bird feeder, which really makes my wife mad. Yeah, because we had two
yeah.
cardinals that would come out and eat the corn, and she went the other day and bought a bird feeder and put it out, and the squirrels are starting to get the stuff out of it. They'll actually lean out, pull it in, and get it. And that's making her mad, but I told her, I said, the squirrels are getting payback. The birds were eating their corn, so. Oh,
yeah, they're ornery. Same thing out in California. They're just full of vim and vigor. I remember those cardinals when I was out in Branson.
mm.
They're beautiful. I miss those cardinals.
Oh, I love them. You know, the legend says that a cardinal visiting is somebody that's passed on that's coming to check on you.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Oh,
that's
that's
the legend
sweet.
anyway. But
Well,
yeah,
I believe in that stuff. Some of that stuff just rings true.
it does. You know, I
You
believe
gotta
there's
gotta
something.
believe in something.
Yeah,
It's comforting.
yeah, there is something
You
after
know.
this. That's for sure. This can't be all.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a pretty spiritual person in my own right. I don't want to say that I'm religious, but I am spiritual for
yeah,
sure. There's more that there's more to what meets the eye, right?
definitely, definitely. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do. I do. I've had a few strange experiences, so I can't refute it.
Oh, I
But
used to do the ghost hunting thing, and I've got some really good recordings. I've got some
really,
I've got EVPs that are as clear as we're talking right now.
and one thing I would like to ask.
Hmm.
There's just one thing. What are you doing over there?
What am I doing over here? What you mean?
Well, as in what the ghost? Ask the ghost.
Oh,
What are
oh,
you doing?
yes.
You know, are you just? Why are you hanging out here?
And you know what's weird? I've never asked that, and that's kind of
I
weird.
know.
I
I
never
was
thought
like,
to.
so that's probably going to be my first question
Man,
next time I'm ever in the presence of a ghost. What are you doing here? And how can I help you?
you know, I've never thought to ask that. But what's really strange, I think my favorite EVP of all time is I was doing, whenever I do these interviews, I'm recording like I am now. It's just me in the house. My kids are up, I'm in the basement. They're upstairs on the second floor. And they're both still asleep because they're lazy little bums, teenage girls, and it's summertime. And,
Mine too.
yes, indeedy. And, it's quiet down here. Not a sound, not another person. The person I was interviewing, she was home alone, no sound. And I record this, and then I'll go back. When I edit, I don't take anything out of this. I don't change anything. I just tweak the sound a little bit. And I record an intro, and I'll put this after the intro. Well, when I was editing hers, I put the intro up, and then I just put hers up there, and I listen to it because I always make sure I've got a smooth transition. And between my intro and me asking how she's doing, I ask, "How you doing today, Stacy?" And in the back, in the thing, you hear a loud whisper go, "I can hear him." That
It said,
will,
what? I can hear you?
yes.
What did he say?
It said, I can hear him. And it was not
You know,
her.
it almost makes you wonder if there's some sort of dimensional thing going on where they're EVPing us, right?
Oh, man. That just blew my
You
mind
know,
because, oh, man.
it can go anywhere. I believe anything can happen in this world. I believe we have a lot more available at our fingertips than we realize if we just put our minds to it and connect with that vibration, that frequency that we want in life.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get wrapped up in the lower frequencies of just getting by in life, trying to make it from day to day, that daily grind that some people say we're a slave to.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get caught up in that frequency that holds us down. And so we need to remind each other, our friends and our loved ones, and especially the young people, that they have so much power in their thoughts, and that frequency that they want to align with, they need to connect with it mentally and stop the negativity. Any negativity that enters in, and it enters in. You just need to stop it and say, you know what, I'm going to change my thought processes, and I'm going to get some spirituality about myself.
Yeah.
And realize that anything can happen in this world if you put your mind to it. And it's just, I believe it's a matter of just staying the course and aligning yourselves with that frequency that you want, and connecting with that spirituality. Because when you have examples clear as day that there's something else out there, well, then apply that to your own life. And I try to do that. And I've had some crazy miraculous things happen, like when I went to Branson to try to get my foot in the door musically. I had come to a point. First of all, I had sang in a country western band. I've sang all genres, from rock and roll was my beginnings. Folk and rock and roll were my beginnings, and then I moved on to country music. I had been given an opportunity to join a country western band, so all my rock and roll friends were like, "Oh, you traitor! Don't you dare! You can't even think about joining a country western band." And so I made the decision. My brother and I, we lived together in the same house. My parents had divorced, so we were kind of raising ourselves during that time because it was a difficult time for my parents. And we got on the roof, and I told my brother, because we used to do that, we would go and sit on the roof and just look at the sky and just talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, you know what? I'm going to join this country band. So my little segue there leads up to my next point. Well, when I had done the country music business, I had exhausted myself. This band that I was in for 5 years was just, it was such a learning experience. It was a show every single weekend. We were the most booked band, right? And the most booked band in Central California, by the way.
Nice.
And so when that band folded, I was devastated. Our lead guitar player, who was my fiance at the time, decided that he was going to become religious, and I decided that I was too, and we became real strong Christians. And he felt, though, that the band was a bad influence, that we were singing in bars and it needed to stop. And so a lot of things happened, and we folded. So I went to Branson.
Okay, there we go. That's better.
So just a little background before we get to Revolushn, to kind of show you the steps of how I got to Revolushn. So after the country western band, I went to, kind of like lick my wounds at a ski resort and worked up there for a while. And a couple of years later, I kind of quit the music altogether because I was so devastated. We're talking pretty deep depression, because that was everything I had ever known musically. So a couple of years later, I decided, I'm going to get back into it. So I started playing for just people that would come up to the mountain. And next thing I know, I'm 26 years old. I'm getting my tax return, and I'm thinking, you know what? I really need to pursue the music, because if I don't, I will never regret not knowing if I could have made it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had made that decision, and words are very powerful, right?
Yeah.
When you make that decision to take a direction, amazing things happen. So because I made this decision, things just started miraculously happening. So I went to my boss. I said, look, I'm getting my tax return, because I was a dental assistant at the time. I'm getting my tax return. I'm out of here, and I'm going to go give it my shot in the music business in Branson. It was going to be Nashville or Branson, and Branson was happening. It was the big boom, so I thought, well, I'll go there. So I'm up at the this is a town of about maybe 2,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a little tourist town, and off season in the summertime they have little festivals. So there's this festival happening, and there's probably maybe 500 people. So I'm walking around barefoot in my skirt at this festival, and I'm planning to go to Branson. I don't know where I'm going to stay. I have no idea how I'm going to get there. I just know I'm going. I'm getting my $2,000 tax return, right?
Mm-hmm. That's big
so,
money.
right. So I'm standing there at this paint. There's a booth that has this spinning wheel that you can sprinkle paint on it and have any word written that you want. It could be your name, it could be your boyfriend, it could be a town. Well, I'm watching this, and there's a huge crowd of people standing around watching it. And it's spinning around, and mind you, I've already decided I'm going to Branson. I've told my boss about it, and everybody around me is just sick of hearing about Branson, because, I've just made this plan out of nowhere. And some people kind of half believe it's going to happen. Some people don't, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching this thing spin around, and all of a sudden it stops. And on the T-shirt, it's these T-shirts that they splat the paint on. And on this T-shirt, it comes to rest, and it says Branson.
Oh,
now, mind
man.
you, this is in a town of about, a couple thousand people at this festival, and it says Branson. So I yelled to the crowd. I said, "Who here is from Branson?" Well, this lady, she's got this big beehive hairdo, and she says, "I'm from Branson," in kind of an arrogant way. And she acted like she didn't really want to talk to me, so she just turned around. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So I just yelled in defiance and said, "Well, I'm going to Branson." And she kind of turns around and she looks at me and she says, "How are you going to Branson?" I said, "Well, I'm a singer, and I'm going to go give it my shot in the business." And she kind of smirks, and she says, "You can't go to Branson. There's people living on the streets and under bridges. There's no place to live. All the motels are full." And I had known. Do you remember when they had that Branson boom?
I
remember that?
went to Branson during that.
Okay, well, I might have seen you there at the grocery store. So anyway, so she tells me, "You just can't make your mind up to go to Branson and end up there. It's just not going to happen. There's no place to live because it's the Branson boom, right?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, I'm going, and I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I will be there." And she says, "So you're a singer, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm a singer." She says, "Well, give me your demo tape. I'll take it back to my with me to Branson. And I'll listen to it. And if you're any good, I'll have you come out and live with me."
Sweet.
So I ran all the way to the office because I had my demo tape there. Told my boss, I said, "There's this lady that's from Branson that wants to hear my demo." And he just slaps his palm to his head like, I'm so sick of hearing about this place, because, he didn't want to lose me. I was a good hard worker, and he just was done with it, So that's just kind of going back to my point of how things happen when you align yourself with what you want, and you mentally think about that what it is that you want, and you align yourself with that frequency, things can happen. So
Exactly.
she calls me. She calls me the next day and says, "Girl, you're good. You're going to come and live with me."
That
So
is.
anyway, that was the beginning of all those adventures, and I had a lot of things happen that were amazing. And I met Andy Williams and sang in his show.
Mm.
Um, it was just an amazing experience out there. And
I mean
but
that.
I ended up coming back to California, and I wanted to try R&B, and so I ended up with a rock band. Actually, that was out in Branson as well. We were just like killing it, and I ended up having a beautiful baby girl, and ended up coming back to California and hooking up with No and Olga,
They're amazing.
and yeah, and so No is a trip, isn't he?
Oh man, and to talk to him, to listen to him singing everything, you don't think, okay, this guy designed three of the Mars habitats, and some of the
Well,
stuff he's got going on. It's like, really?
you should meet him in person.
Oh,
You
I'm.
really should meet him in person because uh, he's the kind of guy that you would never ever know what a genius he is.
Yeah,
Okay, he's walking around in jeans and tennis shoes, and I don't think he wants you to know. He just wants to kind of just blend in with the scenery, but he's definitely extraordinary, and so is his wife Olga.
definitely. Me and Olga talked about mushrooms for almost an hour, and not just
Well,
like the psychedelic ones, but the ones that she's done the study on, and I'm looking deep into that.
yeah, she is amazing. She does. It's called microdosing. She does
Yeah.
the and she's you know 150 years old. She just looks like she's 22, right?
Yeah.
But that's what this microdosing does. Is it? She's like me. She's as old as the hills, and yet she looks like she's 22.
Welcome to my world.
Right? So yeah, they're amazing. She's incredible. But they're both really gifted, and they found each other.
Yeah.
They complement each other by um, the music that he does, and her videos, and her keyboard playing, and they're just phenomenal.
Yeah.
But No's very focused. He When we played at the Globe in L.A. last summer, he got us a bed and breakfast. The whole band, a bed and breakfast in Venice Beach. And I noticed every time we all got together just to hang out, he had his guitar, and he would just start playing.
Yeah.
Wherever we were, at the bed and breakfast, at the beach. I mean, the guy's just always got a guitar, and he's funny as hell too, just like Olga. You're a comedian, but did you notice these guys? Did they make you laugh?
Oh, they did. They did. It was funny, a lot of the people that I interview, I've always been a metal guy or old country stuff like that, and I've turned into that old man who my playlist has been the same for the last 10 years. This new stuff is garbage. And I started working with Eileen and Jimmy, and they're giving me some musicians that I hadn't heard, and they sent me all, and I said, Revolushn. Okay, just the name of this. I don't know if I'm going to like these guys or not. We're going to see. And I started playing it, and I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. And I introduced my partner on the ambulance to them, or to y'all. And I mean, it's opening my eyes because I've met so many great performers and gotten the gift of so much new music that it's given me faith in the music business again. And maybe I'm
Yeah.
not that old guy.
Well, I think somebody was saying, who was it? They were saying, don't say your age because as you speak it, the mind starts to believe what everybody says about that age and starts to become it.
Yeah.
So he never tells anybody his age because it doesn't reinforce that narrative in our minds.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
That is. And I'll do my age because everybody knows I am never going to grow up. I'll be 49 in November, but I don't feel like it. I mean, I am a 12-year-old still. You know, I laugh
No,
at
I
fart
think,
jokes. I mean, you name it, that's me. I'm just that guy.
yeah, we're just kids dressed up in adult clothes, in my opinion. We're
Exactly.
just who we are, from the beginning till the end. And it's mine is age is just a mindset.
Yeah, I believe if
But
I acted my age with the job I do, I would go crazy because I have to be so serious and so dead on. When I'm off, I don't want to be like that. I want to just have fun.
yeah, well, this music, Noah's music, it's every song is different, and
Yeah,
that's what's fun about it. He doesn't his music. He doesn't write the same stuff. It's just different every time.
yeah, he's not a
There's a
formula
new
guy.
Yeah, there's a new spin on it every time he writes something, and that's what I love about it. And my goal is, as their backup singer, is to just add the fullness and soulfulness to the sound,
Yeah,
and just kind of make it to where there's I want all the songs to have a brightness to his deeper tone, and to give it an uplifting full sound. And it seems like we've got something going on, and it sounds really good. And Noah says he's never had anybody he's clicked with vocally in harmonies like this, and I feel the same way.
yeah. I mean,
So it's just
what
it's addicting, is what it is. It's addicting.
it is, and what's funny, a lot of people think, okay, a backup singer just they're there for sound, but it's a lot more than that because, like I say, you add certain things to it. Like Leonard Skinner had their backup singers. They called them the Honkettes, and each one of them had such a different style. One of them had she was that throaty voice. Like you hear in the bar at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. That kind of throaty
Yeah.
sound. And
Uh
another one,
huh.
just she had a beautiful, just normal singing voice. And then you had Cassie Gaines, who was more of a almost operatic voice, but the way they blended worked so perfectly for the band. And to me, that's
Yeah.
so cool because your voice is an instrument.
It is. I totally, totally believe that as well.
And
All my life, I've just felt that way.
when you got two guitars on stage, you don't play exactly the same guitar, the same strings, everybody playing the same chords at once, using the same pedals or whatever. It's every voice is different,
Hmm.
and it adds. It can add or take away from a song.
Exactly. So I also have my own. I'm a front singer as well,
Hmm.
and plan to tour with Revolushn while I'm doing my backup vocals with Revolushn, and then we'll switch to my band, and then I will front my own music. And kind of, it works out really good because you have, when you're touring with two bands, it can get kind of expensive. But if you have the same players who are learning two completely different styles of music, you got two bands basically, but you're traveling with one,
Yeah,
and it works out really good that way. So that's the goal, and I'm really excited about that.
yeah.
But
I'm actually planning a trip out to California sometime next year, probably spring or summer. And I'm looking
really,
forward to going, yeah, because I want to meet the people I'm talking to because I love doing this because I don't think of myself as doing an interview. I'm not getting on here with a radio
what
voice going, so tell me about your new album. We're talking, we're making friends, and I want to meet my friends.
exactly? I mean, that's one of the main reasons we all get into music in the first place, right? Is to
Yeah,
meet musical people and have fun.
yeah,
And your business is not too much different than the music business. It's still entertainment and getting together and having fun and doing all these things that we do. And that's what is so fun about Revolushn is, God, everybody's such a character. I can't wait for you to meet everybody.
Oh, I'm aching to. It's going to be so much fun because everybody is so different.
Yes.
It's like the machines you can get at the or they have at the grocery store. Where you put your quarter in, spin the thing, and a little capsule comes out, you get some kind of toy, or you may get a sticker or something like that. It's like
Right.
somebody went to one of those machines and just started putting quarters in, like, oh, look, I got a no. Oh, look, I got a Kim. Oh, I got an Olga. Sweet. And just put the band together out of that. And it
Yeah,
works.
it does, and that's exactly, you know, the way it is with No and Olga and the band, David Kendrick and Neil Nyberg is our bass player. These people, they're just like characters in a book for me.
Yeah.
And I wonder, where do I fit in? Am I as cool? And do I, am
Yeah.
I as like wild and crazy? And I look at my life and I look at the people around me, the way they look at me, and I think, yeah, I fit in.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you
I
what.
do. I fit in.
And
But,
it's funny when that meshes
I mean,
and you
like,
figure that out.
yeah, because we're inside ourselves. We don't know how we're perceived.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you feel that way? You just kind of wonder. You have to wonder.
Yeah,
How am I perceived? Because we can't see ourselves from outside. The only thing close is looking in a mirror, and that's 2D, not 3D. Somebody said that to me that
Yeah.
I thought was really interesting. When you look in the mirror, it's 2D. Everybody else sees you in 3D, but we ourselves can only see in 2D. See ourselves in 2D. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and it's funny how everybody, no matter who you are, if you're a supermodel, if you're a rocker, if you're a comedian, if whoever you are, everybody at the end of the day has got the same insecurities. No matter who it is, no
Yeah.
matter if they show or not, they do.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
and that's what I love about this show because, I've never had a chance to. I've dealt with a couple of people who have been entertainers before, in my job as a paramedic, working shows and stuff. But, I've never got to sit down and have conversations. And I was
You
telling,
were a paramedic?
I've been a paramedic for 30 years. I'm still a full time paramedic. This is how I wind down.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how you do that. You run to the fires.
Yeah.
You live dangerously and you help people who are like in the most dire of situations, and it takes a special person to do that. Wow.
And this is how I
Wow.
wind down from that. As you know,
So you do this by night and that by day?
yeah. Well, I work nights, and the way our schedule is, we work what's called a California 12. And it's what law enforcement works. We work 12-hour shifts. And like this week, I'm working Monday, Tuesday, off to Wednesday and Thursday, and then work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The next week, I
Wow.
work, the Monday and Tuesday. Or wait, no, Wednesday and Thursday, and then I'm off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday then.
So it's like I heard the business is kind of like nothing happens at all some days, and then other days, because I've spoken with a few paramedics before, and then some days it's just all hell's broken loose, and
Yeah.
it's usually on a full moon, right?
Oh, I despise a full moon. Anybody that don't believe in a full moon needs to come ride with us. Because, yeah, the full moon is true. And I believe in the power of the Q word. You don't say the word quiet because it just kills people. Because when you say the word quiet, oh, you come up on a paramedic or a firefighter or a cop or anybody and say, wow, it's quiet tonight, they'll run from you. I've told complete strangers to shut up now.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Yeah, that is the kiss of death. Like
Gosh.
I can take my laptop to work if I say, oh, I'm behind on editing. I can go up in the training room and edit some shows, and yeah, the laptop never even comes out of the truck because we go for 12 hours solid then. So I don't even take this stuff to work with me now.
Wow. And you're near Atlanta, right? So that's kind of a big city, right?
Well,
Is that where you go into work?
I'm about 40 miles south of Atlanta where I work at, in a smaller town, but it's a big county, and we stay fairly busy. But
Goodness.
it's just what I've always done. I started doing it out of high school, and it was funny when I got out of high school. I never thought of doing this, and I got a job at a place It was a chemical and janitorial supply, but they also owned a Christian bookstore, and I managed the Christian bookstore. And one of my customers was the maintenance guy at the hospital, and he had the Explorer program through the Boy Scouts there. Well, he mentioned it to me. He said, "You ought to come out with us." I said, "Well, I'm out of school." He said, "You can be in it till you're 21." I'm like, "I'll give it a shot, whatever." And I went, and I had to do so much time in the ER, and then I could get on the ambulance. I said, "Well, I'll do that." And I got hooked. And next thing you know, I'm in school and on the truck, and Lord have mercy, it's been a long time.
Let me say this. We appreciate you, and thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I don't think you guys hear that enough.
No, we really don't hear it much.
Maybe at the time, maybe at the time of the events that occur, I'm sure the families and the people in general are very thankful, but you just need to hear it more often.
Yeah,
you guys are really, really, really out there to help us, and you're sacrificing your own sanity as well, because you never know if you're going to have that one experience that's just going to put you over the edge.
Well, 5 years ago, I'll tell you the story of how this show got its name, Smoked Meat. 5 years ago, I had 2 strokes. The first one I didn't know that I had. The second one I had while I was actually working on the ambulance. And it gave me a hardcore stutter. That's how I knew I was having something going on. I started stuttering, and we were actually about a quarter mile away from Doctor's Hospital in Augusta. I called my wife, and my partner, she wanted to talk to him, and he said, "We're in the driveway now. That's where we're going." So we got to the hospital, and he wouldn't even let me stand up to get out of the truck. It didn't get me physically. It all got me in my brain. And he went and got a wheelchair and wheeled me in, and they put me in a room, and I'm like, "Oh, whatever." And then I heard the words code stroke, and I thought, well, I'm going to be a while before anybody sees me because they're going to be busy with that guy. And then all of a sudden they swarm the room, and I'm like, "Oh, shit, this is not good." And I had to stay at home for about 5 months because I couldn't work. I had holes in my memory. I just had a lot of different tics. And being home brought up all that time worth of PTSD because it wasn't one event. It was just each drop in the bucket filled the bucket, and mine got full. Yeah, and I am the poster child for PTSD. The stutter still comes back. And I have days where I cry all day long.
Do you ever think about doing something else?
I actually, when we moved up here to Fayetteville about 5 years ago, I actually was going to get out of medicine, and I cooked. Do you ever watch The Walking Dead?
I have.
Well, the guy who plays Daryl, Norman Reedus, him and Greg Nicotero own a restaurant about 10 miles from me called Nick and Norman's, and I actually cooked there for a while.
Oh, to get away.
You could open the back door and see the set where they filmed at. That was pretty neat. I enjoyed it, but it's just always been what I do. So I said, well, I guess I'm going to bite the bullet and get back in it. But
wow. Well, a little bit of restaurant work will make you do anything else.
Oh, I love it. If I could make the money I do as a paramedic in a restaurant, I would never get on an ambulance again. I love cooking. I love it.
Having been a working musician, singer all my life, I've worked a few restaurants, and let me tell you, if you're shorthanded, the stress level goes up 100%.
Oh, but see,
I have literally been in the galley when there's been like a packed house and I'm waitressing, and the cooks are under just as much stress as we are, so when the house is packed though and you're short staffed, you don't have enough waitresses, and you've got 6 people wanting things from you.
Yeah.
You just kind of like break down and you just laugh.
Oh yeah. See, that's where I thrive at, is under pressure.
I mean, I remember sitting on the galley floor in a situation like that and laughing my ass off, just like, what the hell,
Mm-hmm. And I tell you.
So cooking, it's fun. It's much better when you're at home and you don't have the time constraint, but
Oh yeah.
restaurant business is crazy too.
Oh, I
But
learned so many neat things to make that time go by quick though, where I could do stuff a lot quicker. I'm a prep machine.
oh really? So you're good with a knife, chopping really quick?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've got great knife skills. My best friend owns a restaurant supply store, so we've got our normal kitchen stuff, but I've got the stainless tables at the house. I've got you name it. I use the same knives I've used at every restaurant I've worked in. Those the Dexters with the big fat white handle.
Oh really?
Yeah, I've got the steam table pans, all the different sizes, and the cold pans, and I prep.
Wow. So, there's a certain way to hold the food. I know you've got to kind of like bend your fingers so that your tips of your fingers are not exposed, but placed down on the food, and the knife kind of just passes by your nails, and then it's
Yeah,
I've
you
never been able to do that.
curl your fingers under, and I don't go
I've
real
never been
fast.
in it. I've wanted to do that, but it's just, you got to spend some time practicing that,
I
like
go
any other
go
skill.
for accurate more than fast. Fast is just to impress people. I used to tell people fast is what gets you laid. That's it, because everybody sees that and goes, oh, but no,
And you got to start over.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no,
Well, I got a story. I have a story for you since you have been a cook
what
in
you
a
got?
restaurant. When I lived in Branson during the off season in the winter, we lived in a little cabin, but we would travel to this restaurant. He was the cook and I was the waitress for the morning shift, right?
Hmm.
Opening for breakfast. And so we were a team, and I was, serving this table, and the guy didn't like the way his egg was cooked.
Hmm.
So I took it into the kitchen to my boyfriend, and I said he wants the egg cooked, however, we'll just say hard or easy, over easy, whatever.
Hmm.
And so he says, oh, okay, well, I'll try it again for him. And so I took it back out to the customer, and the customer looks at me and says, no, this ain't right. So I took it back into my boyfriend, and I said, look, he says this isn't over easy or over hard or whatever. And so it was pretty funny. My boyfriend took just a regular old egg, out of the fridge, still in the shell. He puts it on the plate. He says, give this to him. So I walked out there and I said it right in front of him. And the guy just started laughing. But, he wasn't pissed off anymore. He was just, he was surprised.
Yeah, yeah. And believe it or not,
So that's my funnest restaurant story.
I'm actually a certified Waffle House grill operator also. Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
I did that part time before I met my wife because in Augusta where I was working then, that's where we ate every time. And
Wow.
we got to be friends with the manager. And I said, I'm looking for something part time. He said, come on. And I learned a lot. I've actually got a flat top that I cook most of my stuff on now.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh,
what's your favorite thing to cook? What do you love to cook the most?
I love cooking everything. I can go from cooking ramen to a 5-star meal. And I can go from either store bought ramen or I can stretch my own noodles by hand. I make my own sausages, brats, andouille, pepperoni. I do a venison pastrami that is amazing. It
Wow.
takes about a week to do because I have to brine it. But I've got a lasagna that I do. I don't do it very often. It's once in a blue moon because it takes me all day. I do everything on the lasagna by hand. The pasta's homemade. The
Wow.
sauce, I grind the meat with my own little blend. I make the cheese, everything. It takes all day to do it, but oh, it's amazing when I do.
Yeah. Well, I remember I'm somewhat of a vegetarian. I'm not a staunch vegetarian. If I'm hungry and it's all that's there, I'll eat, a pizza that's got pepperoni and whatnot.
Yeah.
But since I became a vegetarian, I mean, the cooking challenge has been worse than ever. I mean, I used to cook really, really good,
Hmm.
but that's when you're a good cook is if you can take something vegetarian, make it taste just as good as it did when it had that flavor, of meat, because meat is kind of salty and it just has a natural way
Oh yeah.
of being that kind of just adds flavor, right? So you've got to get really good with your spices, and I've got a couple good dishes, but
Well, I'm about to
it's
change your
that's the big
world.
challenge.
I'm about to
Do you
change
have
your
any
world.
vegetarian? Oh, really? You are?
Yes, because the food is all about seasoning. I mean, you can make anything
Oh,
taste good with the right seasonings. And everybody thinks
yeah.
their main seasoning is salt. It's not. Everything needs a little salt. That's just a law. It does. But
Yep.
the best place in the world to go for your spices is an Indian grocery store.
You know what? And it's less expensive there as well. That
Yeah,
I can attest to that. You're right about that because we have one.
yeah.
And in fact, I would get my incense there. Not only do they have great food, but they've got some fun,
Well,
Indian cultural things there as well. But you can get a big old uh, package of, any spice you want
yeah,
for just like the same price as you would at Safeway for just a little bottle of it.
yeah. When I do the pastrami, I have to use coriander seed, and if I go to Walmart, I can get a 2 ounce bottle of it for $8. I can go to my grocery store in Augusta and I can get a pound of it that's fresher and better quality for $2. And the people
Isn't that
there will
crazy?
tell you about any spice there. Now, if
Yeah, in depth.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah. I try to buy organic,
Hmm.
and they don't always have all the organic stuff, but
Hmm.
they do have whatever spice you want in bulk for
Well,
sure.
I'm gonna give you a spice to get that will blow your mind.
Okay,
Because
let me
be
get my pen.
as a vegetarian, is I'm not really up on it a lot.
Uh
Um,
huh.
are eggs included in that? Do you eat eggs as a
What is it?
vegetarian? As a vegetarian, do you eat eggs?
Oh, I do sometimes. Yeah.
If,
As an ovitarian or something. I don't know. There's some special name for that.
okay.
I'll have an egg once in a blue moon, but mostly I just try to eat vegetables
Well,
when I'm being good.
if you have something that needs some egg flavor, get a packet of black salt.
Black salt?
That's the name of it. It's called black salt. It's
Okay, I'm
not
writing it down.
not really a salt so much, but it tastes like eggs. It's the weirdest thing in the world. It tastes like egg yolks, and it's awesome.
Wow. Well, I'll definitely have to try that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and there's another thing. It's called I never pronounce it, or asafoetida or something like that. Basically, when I went in and asked for it because I read about it, I want to try this. Uh, the guy at the store, he kept looking at me, and I said, "Smells really bad." He said, "Grandpa feet." I'm like, "I guess," and he went and got me a bottle of it.
It's called grandpa feet?
Well, that's what he called it, but it's hing root is what it is, HING, and it's a powder,
Huh?
and it tastes almost
I
like
think I like the name grandpa feet better.
yeah, and I guarantee if you go in and say it smells like grandpa feet, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. But it's
Kind
got
of
a
like blue
taste.
cheese, right?
Yeah, it's got a taste kind of like a leek.
You got to plug your nose to eat it.
To cook with it, you do. Even to open the bottle, my wife wouldn't let me keep it inside the house.
Really? But
It
it tastes great,
it
huh?
tastes great.
Wow.
But yeah, those two
Well, that's
spices,
interesting.
those will be fun. They're fun to work with.
Yeah, anything new, I like to try new things.
Yeah,
I'm an advocate for learning new things and trying not to stay stagnant. Uh, you know, for sure,
exactly.
definitely.
And if you
And
have a
you put it on veggies and rice or something.
yeah, well, you cook with it. You just type in SF. You'll see the name of it. I can never pronounce it, but just
Well,
Google the recipes
I
with it.
like to saute. I like to saute with coconut oil.
Yeah,
Do you do that?
I do. I
There's
do.
something special about sauteing with coconut oil.
I will
I
tell
can
you
tell you
another
that
kind
right
of
now.
oil to get. And I got this.
What?
I've got an Oriental grocery store up the street from it. I go to a lot, and they have
Hmm.
got vegetable oil, but it's also infused with horseradish.
Oh,
and
interesting.
saute some onions and bell peppers in that. Oh man, it is amazing because it's not overpowering, but you get that little bit of heat to it, and it's great.
Oh, I'm getting hungry now.
I make everybody on this show hungry. That is so awesome that I do that. It tickles me.
Yeah.
But if you have access to a smoker, here's you one more. Uh,
Oh, okay. What is it?
I like to use a kind of not a real heavy smoke. I'll use like pecan to do this with because it's not a
Uh-huh.
real hard smoke flavor. But
Uh-huh.
core head of cabbage, and of course from the south, I'm going to tell you, put a stick of butter in there, and just drop that down in the core. And you can make whatever rub you want to for the outside of it. Spray a little bit of oil on there just to kind of make it where the rub will stick.
Uh-huh.
And put it in some foil. Don't seal it good. Just put it in the foil. Leave the top open so that it don't fall through or anything. And put it in your smoker
Mhm.
for about 4 hours. And it
Wow.
is awesome.
Sounds really good. I mean, I feel sorry for your wife because if she's anything like me, she's probably 400 pounds eating
No,
your food.
oddly enough, oddly enough, most of what I cook is fairly healthy. That's the
Well,
great
it
thing
doesn't
about
matter.
about cooking for
It's the
yourself.
portions. It's the portions.
Yeah, we've
You
always
know?
got leftovers because I don't cook small. I do not cook
Yeah.
small. They were
And
out of
that's
town.
good. My kids won't eat leftovers. They don't. They like everything fresh. So,
Hmm.
but my mother, she can cook. She opened her own restaurant once. But a true cook like yourself knows that you don't just cook one meal for that night. You cook knowing that part of this is going to like perhaps go into a particular soup that you're planning for the next day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It kind of if you're a good cook, you learn to stretch the the food to go into different ingredients for the rest of the week.
Yeah, like if I'm using
And
asparagus, you cut the bottom of asparagus off and you saute the
oh,
other part or do whatever. But I'll use that. A lot of people throw that away. I'll
I
use it
love
to make cream.
asparagus, but
I'll make cream of
people
asparagus soup
say
with
that
that.
people say that asparagus makes your pee smell funny. Now I have not experienced that. I may get out of the bathroom too fast to know, but I don't really want to find out.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you agree with
I've never had mine smell strange. I don't know, but I'm like you. I don't waste time in there. I don't go to read War and Peace or nothing. I go do my business and go. But oddly enough,
right?
you'll find this interesting. There is. You remember the bomb pops that you used to be able to buy, the red, white, and blue popsicles?
Yeah, I remember those.
Mountain Dew has a new flavor called Liberty Brew. It's a limited edition thing right now. It's blue, and it
Uh-huh.
tastes just like those. I have a
Really?
friend that when he found them, he drank like four of them one day, and the next day it turned his poop blue.
Oh my.
Yep,
Oh my.
yep,
That's interesting, isn't it?
it is. It is. It almost made me want to drink four or five of them just because I'm that guy.
Yeah. Well, I lately with this COVID stuff, I've got the COVID-19. The COVID-19 pounds,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
and so I've been trying to limit my sugar intake, but I notice I'm eating more sugar than I ever have. So
Hmm.
I know that's the culprit. But with sodas and whatnot, um, I like this soda called Zevia because it doesn't have sugar in it and
Hmm.
it's all natural. Doesn't have any food coloring. I'm a little skeptical about anything that's in an aluminum can because aluminum is supposed to be not good. But boy, when you don't you just need that bubbly,
Oh,
biting
oh
taste
yeah.
of a soda once in a while?
Oh yeah. I've
And it
got to
seems
where
to be after something I've had real salty.
yeah, I've gotten now to where I'm drinking a lot more water, but I hate just plain water, so I'll get the little flavor packets.
Uh huh.
And I have found Jolly Rancher green apple flavor packets, and they taste exactly like a green apple Jolly Rancher.
Oh my gosh, is there sugar in it though?
Nope. It's
Huh, okay.
artificial sweetener, which ain't always the best for you, but hey, I got to go
Well,
somehow.
try to stick with stevia because it's actually good for you, and you can't. Well, I can't tell the difference. My
Yeah.
kids say, "Oh yeah, you can tell the difference. But guess who's drinking Zevia now?
I've
My
got
kids.
I've got a box of it in the cabinet.
Well, yeah. I mean, anything that sugar is just the root of all evil. I mean,
Well,
it's rots your teeth out, affects your moods. People don't even realize it.
oh yeah.
But I mean, back in the day, it was just add a little sugar to this, add a little sugar to that. Now I don't even keep sugar in the house. I
Yeah.
just don't even.
I've got friends.
I'll use honey.
I've got friends who put
Honey.
sugar in their grits,
Yeah,
and that's an
well,
abomination.
I tell you what, the most delicious thing, you would never believe it, is oatmeal with a little maple syrup or honey and a half an avocado. I kid you not. It is so delicious and satisfying. It will blow your mind, and it's healthy.
I can't do avocados though. I've never liked them.
I think it's an acquired taste, but once you get past that, maybe you should give it a chance, because I'm telling you, it's one of the most healthiest foods around. But I'm not going to try to convince you of something at the grand old age of 49 that you are. I love avocados.
Oh,
but
man.
I'm from California too, so.
Well, it's the law out there. You gotta like avocados to get your driver's license out there. So.
It's so funny. When I went back to Branson, I love Mexican food from being from California. I went out there and went to a Mexican restaurant, and I ordered nachos. Well, I'm expecting beans and onions.
Yeah, you're expecting nachos.
A little cilantro, maybe if you're lucky, and avocado and sour cream and sauce on the side, and I just couldn't wait, right? So what I received was packaged corn chips. You could tell, not corn chips, but regular Mexican chips, right?
Yeah.
You could tell they had come out of a bag, and with the cheese that you that's poured out of the can. I was so brokenhearted and devastated, and then I thought, oh my gosh, this is a business opportunity. There needs to be a Mexican restaurant open up around here that's for real, because these, a lot of folks back there don't realize how good the Mexican food is out here.
Yeah, I've actually got something I'm wanting to try out making. And I want to make Mexican ravioli.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I want to make my regular ravioli dough, but
I didn't know there was such a thing, Mexican ravioli.
I don't think there is, but I'm just always trying new stuff, and I want to put like taco meat and some of the queso in there, the white cheese and queso blanco, excuse me, and a little bit of cilantro and some seasonings in there, and make some enchilada sauce and put it on it. I think that'll be good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. You could make a deal with Amazon and, sell those.
Oh, yeah. Chef Boyardee don't live in our house anymore. My wife and kids figured out I can make pasta and quit buying it.
How many kids do you have?
I've got 2 girls, a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old.
Oh, my goodness.
They're killing me.
So they love Dad's cooking. Now, how does Mom's cooking compare? Does she just kind of like throw her hands up and not even go in the kitchen because of you now?
Oh, no, she cooks like a beast, but, I just do more of it because I'm off a lot more. I figure, she's working 5 days a week and working her tail off through COVID. She shouldn't have to come home and worry about what to fix.
Yeah. Oh, you're a good husband.
I try.
So
We've been married 21 years.
You fix 3 square meals? Do you believe in the 3 square meals thing?
Well,
I'm
the only breakfast person in the house.
Oh, really?
Yep. I could eat breakfast 5 times a day. I love breakfast. But
well, I'm a sucker for omelets.
Oh,
I love omelets.
I can make an omelet out of 1 egg that's 3 inches thick. The secret to an omelet is you can take an immersion blender and crack your eggs in a glass, put that blender in there for about a minute, and it whips air into it, and it'll make it so nice and fluffy and just thick and just melt in your mouth. I do wonderful omelets.
That's a great tip for people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to stretch out your groceries, what a great way to get a lot out of 1 egg.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm a beast with an omelet. Because,
Well,
at Waffle House, that's how they measure you as a cook. Oddly enough, is your omelets.
well, and a lot of it is in how you cook the omelet. I know that I have a little secret too. When you have the egg in the pan, you you kind of tip the pan and you scoot in the egg from the edge of the pan with your spatula and let the other part of the egg that's over the top spill in to fill that spot. And you
Yeah,
just keep doing that around and around and around. Is that how you do it too?
that is.
Yeah, and for some reason it just works. And then
Well,
you flip that bad boy. Can you do it with just the pan? I used to. I don't do it
oh,
anymore. But
yeah.
you got to have the right pan. I only cook with cast iron now because this other stuff's got all these chemicals in it.
Oh, yeah.
But you can flip it
Yep, I can
just
flip
with
it.
the pan.
I can. You know how I learned to
Flip it
flip stuff
good.
without, I barely use a spatula anymore. And
Really?
I started with breadcrumbs. I put a bunch of breadcrumbs in a pan and walked outside with it and just started flipping it.
Wow,
And once you get to
that
where
is
you can do the
something else.
breadcrumbs without spilling them, you can pretty much flip anything. But
Wow.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm actually giving away a couple of cookbooks here shortly. But
Oh, really?
Kenny Wilkerson from Nova Rex, he has gotten
Who?
together from a band called Nova Rex. They were a metal band from the 80s and 90s, and they're still doing a little bit of stuff. But Kenny played with them, and he's got a son who's autistic.
Hmm.
And he put together a cookbook called Rockin' Recipes for Autism. And he got a
Oh,
lot of the rockers from the 80s hair bands to contribute recipes. And it is so amazing. I've gotten one copy and I just ordered two more. And
now this is for kids with autism or people with autism,
yeah,
or just the proceeds.
the proceeds are.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Because
he doesn't make
there's.
anything on it. He paid to have the book printed, and basically he's getting his money back just exactly what he paid to have it printed. The rest of it's going to autism.
Oh,
And the
that's
recipes in it
such
are
a
so good.
good-hearted person.
I did,
Yeah, and that's what I'd like to do with my music. My music has been leaning more towards giving a voice to the voiceless and
yeah,
speaking out against injustices and bringing awareness to atrocities. I like to try to, recently write music. It, you know, give back, do something with it, with your platform. And that's what he's doing.
yeah,
When you said he was, making food for, autism, I thought maybe my first thought was detoxing because, apparently some parents are having luck with detoxing with certain foods and whatnot. I'm
mm,
sure he probably knows all about that. But the fact that he's using his talent to help is just so admirable. I just love that.
yeah. I cooked
So
one of my
kudos
recipes.
to him. That's awesome.
Yeah, I cooked one of them the other night. It was wasabi and sesame encrusted salmon. Oh, it was so good, and it was easy. The recipes aren't bad. They're not hard to do. They're not like $500 a meal recipes. They're really good though, and it's from the
Wow.
people you grew up listening to. I mean, Don Dokken has a spaghetti sauce recipe in there that's really good. I'm gonna make it.
Well, see, everybody's got to eat, and everybody wants to eat something good. So it's just a win-win.
Yeah, yeah. But I told him, I said, I'm pushing this cookbook hard as I can because I mean it's such a great cause, and it's not like a lot of charities. You donate to it or whatever, and you never hear from them, or you might get a T-shirt that's going to tear up in 10 minutes. This is actually a really heavy book. It's a 2 pound cookbook. It's a really, really
Wow.
nice one. It's got pictures of
What's the
everybody in it.
name of it? What's the name of it again?
Rockin' recipes for autism. There's no G
And
on
that's
rockin'.
so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, you can go to the
I
website.
love that.
It's rockinrecipesforautism.com. And like I say, I ordered two of them last night about midnight, and they're on the way already.
I'll definitely have to check
And it's
that out.
and it's only 29 bucks.
Anything with rockin' before it is great in my book.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book. But I tell you, I have had a ball. You know what's funny is most of these I try and go about 30 minutes or so. And here lately, I'm just breaking that. We have gone almost an hour. Yep, yep,
That
yep.
went by fast.
It did. But I have had a great time, and you know you're welcome on here anytime. That is a
Well,
given.
thank you. I appreciate that. Anything to get the word out about Revolution and the magic that it's making, and No and Olga and Electric, go Electric, and we're releasing a new song. That's a big secret. So, but that's going to come soon, and just go Revolution. Woohoo!
Yeah, for these 3 episodes, Electric is actually the bed music under my intro.
Say
Yep.
that one more time. What?
On the 3 episodes with you, No, and Olga,
Uh huh.
Electric is the music that I'm playing under my intro.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for that.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
that is so cool.
A lot of times I'll use music I get from a service that I'm a member of. It's all royalty free stuff and all that, where I pay for a little bit of licensing. But if I have somebody
Well,
that's making the music, I'd rather use theirs.
well, we appreciate that. And hey, I mean, it's just good music,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is. It is.
So you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So
Mhm.
keep your ears out for Revolution, and check us out.
Oh, yeah.
All of you out there in Radio Land that are listening.
Oh, yeah. I see big things coming.
So
I see a lot of
yeah,
big
me
things
too.
coming.
Me too.
Well, very,
Good
very cool.
times, and great people too. I'm just so humbled to be with such phenomenally talented, amazingly minded psych rock people.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
everybody needs to know No and Olga, and everybody already knows David Kendrick and Neil Nyberg. He's got his own band, Nalamora, and he actually wears posters that say "Kindness is fucking sexy." Pardon, you could probably bleep that word out,
Yeah,
right, later. But
I don't bleep anything on here.
I mean, these people are just amazing people, and they're so fun and energetic and creative. It's just such a rush to hang out with them, and I hope you
Yeah,
come out and hang out with us.
I am planning on it, and I'm looking forward to it. 'Cause like I say, I love talking to people, but I really want to meet everybody.
You will not stop talking when you come here and meet everybody, because it's just full of excitement and energy, and loving people, caring, and you'll laugh your ass off too, because between Olga and No, they're so funny, and
They
they
are.
don't even try hard. That's what gets me, is they don't try hard, and they make me laugh.
Yeah. Well, like I told them, if y'all
So
come to Atlanta, you are fed. Period. So,
yeah, that's for sure.
oh yeah. But thank you so much for coming on here. It has been a
Well,
ball.
hey, thanks for chatting with me and letting me chat with you. I just I love to talk. I've got the gift for gab. Now, whether or not it's interesting, that's debatable. But hey, it's just about meeting you and talking with you, and I really enjoyed talking food with you
Well, thank you.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I look forward to meeting you.
Same here.